Yo, what's good? It's your bro Lo, and I'm bringing you guys another saucy weekly upload video. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Before we get started, I just wanted to say, man, I hope you guys have been having a good weekend, enjoying your weekend. Hope you guys have been studying, working on your craft. You know, hitting them shots like Kobe, 1,000 shots a day. You know what I'm saying? Actually back testing. You know what I mean, and journaling, and you know what I mean, just working on yourselves, working on your craft. If you have, go ahead and give yourself a hand clap, you know what I'm saying, because there's people that's not doing that, that's not taking this shit serious. So go ahead and give yourself a hand clap. Also, I do appreciate everybody that has been supporting my videos, have been watching the videos, and have been liking and sharing, so go ahead and give yourself a hand clap if you have been doing that. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So before we do that, we got to get right into the news, little stupid ass nigga. So let's go ahead and get right into that. So this week, Monday, we have core retail sales, high impact news. So this should be a good day to trade, maybe high probable. Right, Tuesday you got a little bit of medium impact. Yeah, this day it might be a little high probable. I don't know. And then you have Wednesday, which is goddamn motherfucking goddamn Fed interest rate. That shit gonna be volatile. You know what I'm saying? So this is most likely gonna be a little a low probable. I'm not gonna trade this day because it's gonna be low probable as hell. And then Thursday you have which should be a little high probable because it's after the high impact news. And then you have some high impact news this day. You got some good high impact news like jobless claims and PMI reports, right? Friday, I don't know what the fuck that shit gonna do. I'm not gonna trade that day unless I have a very good week. But most likely Monday is gonna be where I'm gonna potentially get my high probable setup. Tuesday is a day where you low risk, take it easy, don't over push, don't over press that button, you know what I'm saying, and over leverage. In this day, you definitely don't want to try to go crazy this day. Maybe after the Fed, but what's the point in even trading that day? You know what I mean? Yeah, 2 to 3 good setups a week. That's good for me. I mean, well, yeah, 2 to 3 good setups a week. That's good for me. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the chart, right? Let's start off with dollar. Alright, because I like starting off with dollar. Before I go ahead and show you guys the PD raise that I'm looking at and my drawn liquidity and everything, go ahead and mark out what you see. I'm pulling a little ICT on you guys, but mark out what you see before I go ahead and do that. Right, where do you think that weekly candle is gonna draw into? Right, go ahead and mark that out. Alright, if you did that, if you paused it, marked it out, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys. So boom, we have this monthly balanced price range, right? Monthly balanced price range. Basically we have traded into that monthly balanced price range. I'm not saying that price is gonna go higher from here. It could continue to go lower because what can I tell you? The monthly is fucking bearish. What can you see? Right now we could stall here and we could get a nice rejection off of here since it is a balanced price range. But the draw on liquidity for me is can we reach down into the the consequent encroachment of this balanced price range? Right, you do have this last down close candle too. You can mark that out, but right now I'm focused on that because I want to see how we trade into that. Going into the weekly time frame, go ahead and mark out the PD raise that you see. Right, pause the video, and voila. So boom, we have a weekly. So right now we did trade into that balanced price range, right? And then you currently have a weekly fair value gap that price did reject off of this week. We did have a large range week right here, but last week was a very small range, which makes sense because that week was a very large range week, right? So it makes sense for this to be like a doji in a small range week. So next week, well, this week coming up, I'm thinking that maybe we get a lot more expansion this week, right? So with what I'm seeing right now, right? Okay, how is that next weekly candle gonna print? Any time frame that you look at, you want to visualize how that candle is gonna print, right? What should it do? How should it print? What should it do? What should it come into? What should it not go through, right? If you're thinking that price is gonna get to a certain PD array. So like for example, if I think price is gonna reach down into this FEG right here, right, and go through this FEG, okay, when I'm visualizing this weekly candle, I'm visualizing open, okay, it opens here, right, okay, it's gonna open here. Do we come up, right? I'm expecting us to come up first, manipulate, create that Judas swing. We're most likely gonna take out the previous weekly high, right? Minimum, right, that I'm expecting price to come into is this, right? Tap into this, and then do we have a displacement, right, away from that, going back below this weekly high, and then only then what I think, well, I could have some sell setups here, but then I would think that, okay, price could start expanding to maybe the consequent encroachment of this balanced price range on the monthly of the monthly FEG, and this FEG, which is right in here, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that out right there. Let's go ahead and mark that out. Okay, so boom, it could reach down into that, right? So let's go ahead and go to the daily time frame. Okay, daily time frame. This is what we have. So we have this current volume imbalance that we did trade up into on Friday, right? That we are playing with. Okay, so the thing is, right, if we are going to reject off of this monthly balanced price range, right, then this week could come up into, let's say, this balanced price range, because you have this buy side offered here, right, with a FEG, and then you have sell side going right through it, spanning right through it cleanly. So this is a balanced price range. So in my mind, right, since we did come into it, we can be bearish this week. This week is gonna maybe be more probable to print bearish, right, and expand lower, right? But since we are at a discount PD array, right, we could bounce off of there to come up and trade up into here, right, and maybe even higher, you know, if it's actually bearish, right? So if that is the case, then I would anticipate this to open, come lower first, right, run into some type of discount array, and then have a displacement higher and start trading higher, and then we could target there, right? But right now I am looking for us to continue lower. I am bearish dollar, even though we're at this PD array, but I am giving room, right? I'm giving room. I'm being flexible. That price can reach up into here. That price could be bearish, right? So let's go ahead and go. I think that's pretty, yeah. The reason why I didn't mark out this bearish fair value gap right here is because we do have that weekly balanced price range, which is right here. But we do have this bearish fair value gap right in here. So if we do start closing through certain PD arrays, which is here, or we expand through here, then we're most likely going to start targeting it up here in the order block, which is 3 consecutive up close candles before the displacement lower, which is right here. It could come up into there. So that could be like later if we do start getting a change in state of delivery by closing through certain PD arrays, right? So since we have our bias with dollar, right, and we understand where dollar is and what dollar should do, potentially should do, let's go ahead and go into the indices. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the monthly. Go ahead and mark out your PD arrays, whatever you see. What do you think this monthly candle, because we do have 15 days left on this monthly candle, what do you think this monthly candle is going to potentially reach into for these last 15 days, right? So go ahead and mark that out. Okay, so right now we have these relative equal lows right here in this volume imbalance, which is down here. Now this is long term, right? This is where the party's at, okay? Because you got relative equal lows. Now, where's the pregame? We want a pregame first, okay? We want a pregame. The pregame is right here. You know what I'm saying? It's right here, because this is a failure swing, okay? This no previous monthly low was ran here, right? Even here, there was no previous monthly low ran here, but this is where the pregame is. This is where the low hanging fruit is. This is where I want to see price come into this week, right? So let's go into the weekly time frame, right? We have this weekly bearish for value gap, okay? So with that being said, if this is my drawn liquidity, right? This is my drawn liquidity. How should this weekly candle print, right? In my mind, like I said, you want to visualize how these candles are going to print, so that way you can anticipate, right, what PD array should work and what PD array shouldn't work, right? So in my mind, I'm visualizing the weekly candle to open, come up, right? Come up, and then go lower to run down to expand, right? Open, high, expand, low, close, right? That's what I'm anticipating this week. Now, week this is the low hanging fruit. Could we get a little crazy and want to get to the party? Hell yeah, we want to get to the party if it really wants to do that, right? I'm not saying we're gonna get here this week, but that is where the party is. This is where the destination. You know what I'm saying? So, but right here, this is where we're gonna pregame, get the drinks. So, what should I see? Okay, minimum. Now, price could come up into this bearish FE weekly FEG right here. Also, you have a volume imbalance which is resting right in here. Okay, now what do I see? I see that we have a down. Okay, price went down here and went up here, and then you had this open and you had this drop lower. So this right here is a balanced price range, right? So I know that the consequent encroachment of that, the middle part right here, can be a key level for me. So if price was to come up, minimum, I want to see it come up and just quickly reject from there. If it's going to be very low resistant, I want to see it come up and reject, right, and start coming lower. Now, since we have that, right, notice how we close through the mean threshold of this order block, this bullish order block right here. Okay, so we could just tap into there if it's really low resistant. Could just come and tap into there and then start expanding lower, and then we have to contend with the consequent encroachment of this wick right here, this back and forth right there. You have to contend with that. So once we get there, that's a target. If we close through it, here, let me go ahead and mark it out for visualization purposes, right? Because people are visual. If we start going through, if we come to here, right, I want to see some type of daily close through there, through here, right? So let's go on and go to the daily time frame, since that's where we're gonna go, since that's where we're on. Okay, now we have this daily bearish fair value gap. It's clean, clear as day. Those are the type of PD arrays that you want to pay attention to, the ones that are super clear. If you have to like squint your eyes and try to figure out which FEG and which order block and which you really have to like squint up your chart and look at what the fuck going on, it's not that clear. It's not a good PD array. This is clear, this is clean, right? Now, I want to see if price can hold this PD array. If it's very low resistant, I would rather see it hold this PD array. Maybe take out this high, but hold this PD array and then start trading lower. And maybe this could be the low hanging fruit target. Once we get there, we sit on our hands. We'll see if we close through. If we close through, we span through the displacement. Cool, straight. That means we really ready for we really ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And then this can be used as like an inversion area, right? To start trading down to the sell side liquidity pool down here, or even lower. Right, so that's the target. That's what I'm looking for ES. Let's go ahead and go into NASDAQ and see what we have for NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and go to the monthly chart. Same thing with the monthly, okay? What do we see? All right, let's go ahead and mark that out. So we have a monthly failure swing right here, right? And then you have the relative equal lows. That's where the party's at. This is where we're going to pregame, right? Can we get down into there during this month? I think we can. For these last 15 days, I think we could get down into there, right? I'm not thinking we're going to just start expanding higher and go higher, right? I'm thinking that this is the target. This is where this is where the failure swing, this is where people have their sell stops at, right? So that's why I'm thinking price is going to go. Let's go and go to the weekly. Boom. We have the weekly bearish fair value gap, same as kind of like ES, right? But ES is a little bit stronger than NASDAQ, so I would rather, weaker than NASDAQ. So I would rather be a seller of S&P 500 than be a seller of NASDAQ right now, based off my higher time frame chart and how we have closed, how ES had closed through the mean threshold of this order block, bullish order block, right? But this is the target. So maybe NASDAQ comes a little higher than ES. Maybe we play inside of that volume imbalance and then we quickly reject off of there. Or maybe the consequent encroachment of that wick, we come up into there and we reject off of there, right? And ES bounces off of, gives like an immediate rebalance. Like if you go look at ES, right? And maybe it opens, gives an immediate rebalance, right? Holds that daily FEG and it goes lower. But NASDAQ goes a little bit higher and comes into this volume imbalance and then goes lower, right? And then once we have that happen, open, high, start expanding, we have to contend with this. Also, you have a convergence of a PD array right here. You have the consequent encroachment of that wick. Look how it lines up with the mean threshold of this order block. So that's going to be a key PD array. If we do get down into there, I have to sit on my hands and wait and see what price might do around that area. If we get closest through there, then I can see that be used as a what? As an inversion PD array, right? An inversion mean threshold of the order block, right? To start expanding lower, take out the previous weekly low, and maybe even go lower if we really want to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Alright, so that's what I'm looking for NASDAQ. That's what I'm looking for ES, right? Like I said, whenever you want to, if you want to get better with bias, right? If you're struggling with bias, try to visualize, right? Figure out where the draw on liquidity is. Where should that candle expand through? A old low or an inefficiency? It's that simple, right? Old low, inefficiency. Inefficiency can be a wick like this, or FEG. Old low can be something like this, or you could have like a order block, open of an order block, or a mean threshold of an order block. What is that candle potentially? Because we got to think in terms of probability. What is it more probable to do, right? To me, it's more probable that this weekly is gonna be bearish, because why? Common sense. It's been going lower. Why would I just think that the candle, this next candle, is gonna be bullish, right? It's more probable to be bearish because that's what we have been doing, is being bearish for the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? A lot of people, they struggle and they constantly keep getting knocked the fuck out because they're trying to call this bottom here, and because it's at a discount array, when price has not shown you that this week is more probable to not even go higher. Price has been showing you that it's been bearish. You get what I'm saying? So you got to stick with the trend sometimes. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to jump. You don't want to jump and try to catch the falling knife. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's what I'm looking for this week for the indices. Now let's go ahead and get into EU, NGU, right? So let's go ahead and get that. Go to the monthly. So here's the monthly time frame. So monthly time frame here, I'm looking for price to potentially go up into this monthly constant encroachment of this FEG. Now we are inside of this order block, so it does not have to potentially get up into there because we did run. But since we went completely through this FEG, we did not hold constant encroachment. We just went right through it. We're most likely going to trade up into here in the last possible 15 days that we have left of this month, right? We could trade up into there. So that is my draw on liquidity. Now let's go ahead and go to the weekly time frame. Now what do we see? Go ahead and go ahead and pause the video, mark up the chart, whatever you want to see, whatever you see, right? Boom. Okay, so right here we have an inversion FEG right here. Right here, this is where our week is here. What is it more probable, if you're looking at the weekly time frame, what is this next candle more probable to do? Be bullish. If you didn't get be bullish, then you're blind. You know what I'm saying? You need these glasses here. You need these. You know what I mean? You need to go get these checked. Look, it's most likely it's more probable to go higher because what have we been doing? We have been expanding on the weekly, right? I'm not anticipating this next weekly candle to be bearish. I'm anticipating it to be bullish, right? We have to anticipate, right? So with that being said, I'm leaning my setups, what I deem as high probable setups is gonna be in terms of the weekly reaching higher, and every daily candle going higher and reaching higher. You know what I'm saying? If it's not reaching higher, if it's closing through certain PD arrays, then it's most likely not gonna go higher, and I have to sit on my hands, right? Because it might be high resistant, right? So for example, we close through this weekly FEG right here. Okay, this is a balanced price range. Notice how this week came down and we hit the constant encroachment of that weekly FEG. Now this next weekly candle, what this next weekly candle can do is open here, come down. Since this was almost like a doji, right? We closed relatively almost close to the low. It's not that far, right? We could open, come down, right? Take out the previous weekly low, come into this inversion FEG, right? Or we could come and tap that constant credit crushing again, but we can come down, come into this inversion FEG, hold the high upper end of it, and then start expanding higher. That's what I would want to see, right? If it's gonna be if it's really low resistant, it's not even gonna come down into here. It's just gonna open, come down, give a little small wick, and then start expanding higher and get through all of that, right? But minimum, what I would want to see is it come down, right? Minimum, hold the upper end of that. If it has to go through all of this, if it goes through that, even goes through that, then it's most likely going to be high resistance. So if I'm buying, it's probably going to chop around. It's not going to expand. It's just going to fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to go in my favor. It's going to knock me out early if I put my stops to break even early. It's just going to play around, play with my mental capital. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be stressful. So what I would rather see is price to open, come down, hold the upper end of these PD arrays, and then start expanding higher into what I deem as my draw on liquidity. You do also have a bearish fair value gap, which is resting right in here, right? But I'm not gonna mark it up because I already have this here. This is like my low hanging fruit when I'm looking for this weekly to expand through. Previous weekly high. Hopefully we drop down first before we even start aiming for previous weekly high. But if we start going higher first and we start expanding through that previous weekly high, that means we must be super bearish and it must be low resistant to start running up into here and maybe even go higher if it really want to get active like this candle did and reach up into there. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and go to the daily time frame. Boom, you have this daily fair value gap right here, right? So what price could do is come and clean all of this up, because all this is consolidation, right? Come and clean this up, give it a little Judah swing, tap into here, tap into that inversion FEG, hold the upper end of all of this, not come down all the way in here, and then we can start looking for really good buys to start coming up into the drawn liquidity up here, right, on intraday when I'm scalping. All right, so boom, that's what I'm looking for. For EU, same thing with GU. I would rather be a buyer of GU than EU, because if you look at, let's go on and look at it, right? Go on and get their PD arrays, whatever you see. Pause the video. Did you do it? Okay, good. Boom. All right, so we have this monthly order block open and the monthly order block here. I'm thinking that this monthly could reach up into there. Now, all the current month did was just open and just expand, right? We didn't even create a bottom wick. Now, typically when you don't have any wicks, like you see how you don't have a wick right here, we typically like to aim for those. I'm not saying we're gonna get down into there, and maybe later on that could be a draw on liquidity for later, so that's why I got it there. I didn't put one here. Oh no, I could go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and have that. So let me go ahead and put that up there. Boom. Right, but right now this is what I'm looking for first, and before we even get to that, you have to focus on the mean threshold of the order block right here, right? So I'm going through the PD array matrix for my draws on liquidity, right? We went through this FEG right here cleanly through. We did not close on this monthly yet, so what I'm thinking is we could reach up into here before we close, and let's go ahead and go into the weekly. So weekly time frame, what do you see? Okay, go ahead and mark out your PD arrays. Okay, boom, right? You have this weekly inversion FEG and consequent encroachment of that FEG that we expanded through during this week. This week we created a doji. So what could this week do? When I'm visualizing this candle to print, I'm visualizing open, maybe run down, come into these discount array, right? The monthly FEG, also the inversion FEG, and hold the upper end of their IOFED here, right? IOFED, just come into this FEG because you have an FEG here. The reason why I didn't mark it up is because I want to keep my charts a little bit cleaner, right? And since I already have these PD arrays here, that's completely fine. I want to see it open, come down, take out the low, right? Take out previous weekly low, and then start expanding higher into what I deem as my draw on liquidity, right? Let's go ahead and go to the daily time frame. What do you see? Boom, right? You have sell side liquidity resting right here, which is right above these PD arrays. You also have this fair value you got right here that price could potentially reach down into. Minimum, I will want to see the upper end just hold, hit that, and then start expanding higher. right? But I really want to see just this low get taken out and then us start expanding higher. If it's very, very low resistant, if it's high resistant, it's gonna play around a bit, then it's gonna come and fill all this in, and then maybe start expanding higher, and then play around with my soul, with my soul. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you guys, if you're struggling with higher time frame bias, hopefully this video can help. And you know what I'm saying? You can start seeing what I see. You know what I'm saying? And how I see it. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that's really it. I don't want to make this video too long. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you would like to see me more and see me act like a degenerate, even though I'm not an actual degenerate, I just act like that sometimes because it's funny and I got so much energy. You know what I'm saying? But and trading is it can be boring, so you gotta kind of amp yourself up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Entertain yourself a bit. But yeah, man, that's it. Like I said, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned a little bit every time you watch. I'm not trying to teach, man. I'm just trying to show you guys how I operate, and hopefully, man, it'll inspire and help you with whatever you're trying to figure out and with your trading journey and shit. But yeah, man, that's it. I'll see you guys during this hopefully this week, and hopefully you guys have a great week, and peace. I'm out, man. That's it.